Hi there, I'm Reverend Carol, and today our story is about Thich Nhat Hanh, and I'm going to tell you a little more about him. But we're continuing our talk about peace and justice today. I hope everyone is doing well and that school is going good for you and that you're staying safe. I know it can be a little scary at times with the COVID still happening. So know that we here at Unity of Austin think about you all the time, and we hold you in prayer. And so to continue on our unit on peace and justice, we're going to talk about Thich Nhat Hanh. Now, this was a person who stood up for his beliefs no matter what happened to him. No, he kept doing what he thought would bring peace to the world by helping others in need and by teaching inner peace and mindfulness. You know, and we kind of talk about that a lot here at Unity, is about that inner peace that we can find by going within, that mindfulness, just being conscious of what we're thinking and what we're saying and what we're doing. So before we get into the story, I want to share again the affirmation that we're using for this unit. And that affirmation is, I act with inner peace and fairness in all I do. Now I'm going to say that 2 more times, and I hope you'll join in with me. I act with inner peace and fairness in all I do. Okay, last time. I act with inner peace and fairness in all I do. All right. So let us get to the story. So this story kind of talks, it begins about his talking about his childhood. Thich Nhat Hanh was born in North Vietnam. Now he's a Buddhist teacher, and his students call him Thầy, which means teacher in Vietnamese. When Thầy was about 7 years old, he saw a picture of the Buddha in a magazine. He thought the Buddha looked so peaceful and happy that he decided he wanted to become peaceful, just like the Buddha. One day, Thay's school class took a trip to the top of a nearby mountain where a hermit lived alone. He was eager to meet the hermit and learn from him how to be happy and peaceful like the Buddha. And the day before the trip, he prepared food for a picnic, rice balls with sesame seeds and peanuts. When they arrived at the mountain, Thầy and his friends quickly climbed up and up until they finally came to a small hut. But to their disappointment, the hermit wasn't there. They looked all around but couldn't find him. The other boys were thirsty and hungry and headed back down the mountain to have lunch. Thầy was tired and very thirsty too, but he didn't want to give up and kept on looking for the hermit. And then off in the distance, he heard the sound of water. It was lovely, like the sound of tinkling music. He followed the sound and soon discovered a pool of cool, clear water coming out of a natural well in the rocks. He scooped up the water in his hands and drank. It was so delicious. And as he relaxed next to the well, he felt so happy and contented that he didn't even mind that he had found the hermit. And then he had a thought. Maybe the hermit had magically transformed himself into the cool, fresh water. Tay was calm, peaceful, and happy inside, just like the Buddha. Tay has written about that day on the mountain, saying, I met my hermit in the form of a well. The image of the well and the sound of dripping water are still alive in me today. You too may have met your hermit, perhaps not as a well, but as something else equally as marvelous. Perhaps it was a rock or a tree or a star or a beautiful sunset. And the hermit is the Buddha inside of you. Maybe you haven't met your hermit yet, but if you look deeply, your hermit will be revealed to you. It is inside of you. In fact, all the wonderful things that you were looking for, happiness, peace, and joy, can be found inside of you. You don't have to look anywhere else. When Tay was 16, he joined a monastery and lived with others who wanted to practice mindfulness and find peace inside of themselves. Although he had a peaceful life at the monastery, his country was at war. He watched many people suffering, and he wanted to help. He organized groups of young people to rebuild villages and help the injured. He encouraged people to find peaceful solutions to their differences. He even came all the way to the United States to talk about the importance of peace. But many people in Vietnam wanted the war to continue. They declare, we want to fight until the end. They didn't like Tay encouraging others to become peaceful. And when he tried to return to Vietnam, the government wouldn't let him in. He no longer had a home. He was angry, sad, and worried. He said, I was like a bee taken out of the beehive. Every night he dreamed that he was home in Vietnam. But when he woke up, he wasn't there. So he used the practice of mindfulness to get in touch with the trees, the birds, the flowers, the children, and the people wherever he was. He discovered that he was at home, no matter where he was living. Thai continued to work for peace. Eventually, the war in his country ended, but he wasn't allowed to visit his home for 39 years. In the meantime, he started a community in France called Plum Village, which is where he lives now. Plum Village is a place for people to come to practice peace, meditation, and mindfulness. In fact, the picture behind me is a Plum Village in France. Now, this next part of the story talks about Thich Nhat Hanh's Plum Village experience. You know, at Plum Village lived a little girl named Tui with her father. She was only 4.5 years old. When her father had to go to the city to find work, Tay took care of her. Tui and Tay agreed that when it was time for him to do his sitting meditation, she would brush her teeth, put on her pajamas, and go to bed. For many days, they followed this nightly routine. Tay meditated, and Tui slept quietly. On a hot afternoon, Dewey came in from playing outside. She was very thirsty, so Tay poured her some apple juice. And because the juice had been freshly pressed, there was a lot of apple pulp floating in the glass. Dewey refused to drink it because it was cloudy. She pouted and went back outside. Tay left the glass of juice on the table. After an hour had passed, Dewey came back inside thirstier than before. Tay pointed to the apple juice sitting on the table. She picked it up and eagerly drank it. Is this a different glass? She asked. Well, no, said Tay. It's the same glass. It has been sitting quietly for a bit, and now it's clear and delicious. Dewey looked at the glass and asked, was it meditating like you? Tay replied, well, let's say that I imitate apple juice when I sit. Now, when he teaches meditation, he explains that we should just let our thoughts settle to the bottom of our minds so that we can be clear, just as the pulp from the apple juice settled out in the glass, leaving the juice clear. So what do you think? Do you think you could sit still like the apple juice and let your mind become quiet? Have you ever been away from home and felt homesick? What did you do to feel better? What did Tay do? What did Tay do? Tay felt total peace and happiness by doing his mindfulness meditations. And one of our activities today in the Spark is some mindful meditations that you can do with the Cosmic Kids Yoga. So I hope you'll look at that and enjoy it. Well, this was fun, and I hope to see you again soon, virtually, of course. And I hope you're taking care of yourselves. Know that we here at Unity, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Have a great day. Until next time.